Ash runners.
Alright, hi everyone, my name is Utsu, and I'm going to be running Solar Ash 100% Restricted. So one quick difference from this run, from the True Ending Restricted run that you may have seen in past GDQs, is that we actually run on Novice as opposed to Standard, and that's for a strat that we'll get into later. But quickly, I will go ahead and let my commentator introduce himself.
Hi, how's it going, everyone? My name is RUBIEHART. I am also a speedrunner of this game, although I am but wee and small in comparison to Utsu's might with this game. She absolutely tears it apart. So this game is absolutely gorgeous. As our wonderful host said, it's made by Heart Machine, the same studio that made Hyper Light Drifter. And the general premise behind the game that you can see displaying on the screen here is that your planet is being sucked into a black hole. So your team of Void Runners created technology to try and essentially eject the planet from the orbit of this black hole and essentially save their world and the people who are still on the planet. You can actually see it in this moment here. A few things just to go over as far as general mechanics that are really important is you are going to see a ridiculous amount of really quick movement and skating in this game, as well as gravity manipulations. So this is a game that you can play with controller, but we typically play with keyboard and mouse because that using the mouse to control the camera lets you manipulate how the camera is moving under Ray.
All right, I'm gonna be starting timer here in a second. Once Ray starts, fully stands up, I will count us down. All right, and 3, 2, 1, go.
Awesome. So just like I mentioned before, right now Utsu is moving around using a bunch of skates and what we call triple jumps. You can double jump in this game, and that is something that is fully intended, but the triple jumping isn't. So with that extra distance, it allows us to go a lot higher to places we wouldn't normally be able to reach. And that huge jump that Utsu just made, getting onto the tree, you aren't supposed to be able to stand on that, but there are a lot of tricks that we're going to be doing in this run where Utsu is going to stand on a tree at a very specific angle, hoping that she doesn't hit any of the weird collision. The other thing in this game is the way that these levels are generally structured is you will start off hitting these anomaly eyes, such as this one right here, that Utsu just took out, and usually there are between 3 and 5 or sometimes even 6 or 7 of those in each area that you need to kill in order for the boss to spawn in. And then it turns into a huge fight with these behemoths in each section. There will also be moments like this just now where it's faster rather than waiting for the cutscene or trying to fully run out of an area just to quit out and get back to the last checkpoint. Another mechanic which is really, really important to understand is the time slip. So if you noticed when Utsu was kind of hooking onto the eye that we saw in a previous section, time kind of slowed down for a moment, and she was able to almost use a rope to hook herself towards it. And that is something that essentially will allow her from a distance, and sometimes a really far one, to latch onto an eye or a part of the boss. What Utsu's doing right here, just getting on that doorway, there are going to be a lot of tricks that actually use that specific doorway to get on that cliffside, and then based on the angle that she holds the camera at underneath Ray, which is our protagonist, that causes gravity to work on her differently, so she can skate up the side of a mountain and get past walls that, again, we wouldn't normally be able to get past. At this point, there's only one more eye in this section. And one last thing I want to point out is because momentum managed... Oh, you got this.
I was trying to get around the dialogue.
Yeah, there are going to be quite a few moments in this where Utsu's going to be trying to dodge different cutscenes and moments of dialogue. That just is one of those that can be a little trickier to dodge past. And now we have our first boss, Crater Ouroboros. So, Utsu, just a question for you. When it comes to approaching these fights, what do you find to be the most manageable way to tackle them? I know some people have said like running on specific parts of the boss can be really helpful for them, but I didn't know what your strategy was.
So for the Ouroboros, the first phase, I just kind of go. All the first phases of the bosses always have the most area to stand on. And for some reason with the Ouroboros, the first phase is also its most stable to where, oh, come on, there we go. To where like, there's no real place to stand on that like really feels good. But for the second phase, I'll kind of hug the left of it a little bit. And, oh wow, really good RNG.
That worked.
So yeah, so if I hug the left of it, it's I move a tiny bit faster than if I were to be on the right.
Yeah. That's amazing. And really quick, a few other things. If you see these little needles that are sticking out of the boss, the general explanation for them, as far as the lore, is that Ray's Void Runner suit is kind of projecting where the weak spots are. The first few phases, when there's a lot more of the kind of safe stone to walk on with the boss, you can land in those like dark purpley goo sections. But my friends and I refer to the red phase, the final phase, as the danger skin phase, because if you fall on those, it will immediately cause your character to melt. Also, in just a second here, when the boss dies, we do have a flashing lights warning. It's a really cool animation, but if those are a problem for you, I would highly recommend just looking away for a second. And we're good. And that's the first area already done out of the 6 bosses. Seven bosses that we have in the game total.
This is just absolutely abusing my my space bar.
Yeah, there are quite a few cutscenes that have really great lore, but we're gonna try not to spoil a ton of that. But this is a gorgeous game. If you ever get the chance to play it, I really cannot recommend it enough. It's so good. It's so good. And we're going to be heading into the next area, Capital. There's a really cool mechanic that's introduced in this area called rail slipping. So as I mentioned before, there's that time slip ability that we have to slow down time for just a little bit and to kind of latch on to a further target and fly through the air as quickly as possible. In the next area, very a la the Sly Cooper series, if you're familiar, there are a ton of rails that you're going to see in a bunch of the upcoming sections, including this next one, that we're essentially going to be able to get really big speed boosts off of, and we'll go more into that once we see it. But Utsu's going to be using this archway again, and we'll get to see a really great example of using gravity underneath Ray with the camera movement to allow her to fully skate up the side of a mountain, which is so cool. There's also a door here that you're normally supposed to kill that has a eye, kind of like a lot of the other anomalies that we're seeing. But by doing that skip, we completely go over the door, don't even have to hit it. And that specific angle, the trajectory that she's using to get into the area, basically makes sure that she doesn't accidentally glitch, and the camera will sometimes zoom into that door instead of actually letting you see the character. So it's very weird when you see it, but especially for newer speedrunners of this game, it is a very common glitch when you're trying to learn that jump.
Let me know when a good place would be to jump in with something cool.
Absolutely. This is actually a great time for that.
Well, we have Heart Machine, which in chat, one of our sponsors and the dev of this game, who says they'll get you a replacement spacebar keycap. Thank you so much for supporting us and supporting Malala Fund. I also have a $25 donation from Chaos Peach saying, great runs and a great cause. I've been eyeing this game for forever, and Utsu may have just convinced me to try it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much from the bottom of, I'm sure, both of our hearts, Heart Machine, for making this game. It is a masterpiece. And actually, while Heart Machine is here, one thing I do want to get into is Utsu did mention that there are some pretty big differences between the True Ending Restricted and 100% run that we're seeing here. And what we're seeing right now, so these little caches that Utsu's collecting, is one of the main key differences. Normally in the run, there are a bunch of NPCs that you interact with, and they have incredible stories. You see them in a bunch of different locations. So we are going to visit them in those locations as the game goes on. So, for example, this is Lyris. Hi, Lyris. Awesome NPC. Yeah, awesome NPC. Play the game. This lore is really good. But again, I don't want to spoil it. But with the needing to obtain those caches and get all the different Void Runner suits for the 100%, there are some changes in the routing, this actually being one of them. Usually, speedrunners for the True Ending will go through a kind of hole inside the wall in that front doorway and completely skip over Lyris. But that jump on the invisible floor allows Utsu to get this next cache and then jump into the crater, or I'm sorry, the capital without worrying about the cutscene of the boss of this area spawning in. Usually there's a big cutscene kind of showing when the boss is spawning into an area. Hey, it's Lyris again.
Hi, Lyris.
She's been in the void too long.
Whoa, camera's wonky.
Push on.
All right, you mentioned rail slips before. Yeah, we're about to do the first one.
Yeah. Best of luck with this. And this is one of my favorite skips in the game. So as I mentioned, by doing a time slip jump onto a rail and then letting go at exactly the right time while smashing that dash button as quickly as possible, you can get an insane amount of air. And one thing that's really cool with this run is depending on if you're holding the skate button or if you let it go once you go out of that time slip, that will change if you end up getting more air, so more height or more distance, just depending on which one you do. So there's going to be a lot of switching back and forth between those.
Goodbye, Ooze.
Right, and here is the last time that we're going to see Lyris here. Every time that Ray shows up to Lyris, she's just kind of like, oh, what a poor, pathetic creature. Can't end up like her. Because Ray doesn't realize that Lyris can actually see them and hear them. Mm-hmm. So from Lyris's perspective, the stranger just walks in, insults them, and then leaves.
Yeah, Ray is genuinely rude to this NPC, and Lyris is doing her best. Lyris is doing her absolute best out here. At this point, so again, we got to see a really great example of one of those rail slip jumps that got Utsu over to the next building. We're going to see another one right here that actually allows Utsu to get all the way around this building. And she's going to do another one in just a second to get a lot more height. And we have our final anomaly eye that is right up at the top of this building. But fun fact, even though the boss is about to spawn in, we're just going to ignore the boss when it first arrives, because once a boss spawns in, there's no actual pressure. It's not like a lot of games where you get locked into a specific area and can only engage with the boss fight. So Utsu's going to go ahead and get some caches before we even interact with pressure. It's fine. We're fine. It's going to be fine.
If I wanted, I could literally just leave the map and go back to Crater. And this boss would just be waiting for me still.
Yeah. Oh, and that's another thing. Thank you for bringing that up. So that first character that you saw on kind of that hollow pad, the red hollow pad in that first area, we're going to see them quite a few more times throughout the game. And that hollow pad, once the character, they're essentially a supercomputer that works with your team. And every time you fix the supercomputer by defeating the anomalies and their signal comes back up, that then turns the pad into a teleporter. So that will make moving around the map from one area to the next and kind of jumping our way into areas we shouldn't be in a lot easier for the future. So you'll see Utsu using those teleport pads a lot in the second half of the game. And I believe that this is the last cache, of this area? Yeah.
There is a suit that I could put on with this, but the one I'm wearing right now is probably the best one for now. All this one does is give me more plasma, and I don't use plasma, so we're not going to be putting that one on.
Yeah, the plasma is really great if you're playing it casually because that's used to get additional shields. So essentially, like, gives you more health. And that character Echo breaks one of your shields every time you beat a boss. But in the speedrun, unless we absolutely have to, and there is one point where we will need to restore a shield, we aren't really going to need that plasma otherwise. And it makes the end game really interesting because it becomes a hitless run towards the end. So this is Thresher. Again, we're in one of the safer sections right now, but this is where the game starts introducing you to a lot more specific movement on the bosses, and as you go, the movement will get more and more precarious because the shape of the bosses, the way that the weak spots spawn, and the order they spawn in just makes the actual movement through the boss fights really interesting.
Right, and just a reminder, there is a flashing lights warning at the end of this boss fight, but for now we can probably just turn it over
if
to
you want to read
donations.
donations, now is a perfect time.
Thank you so much. I have a pretty exciting donation for you. I have a $100 donation from Wolfgang who says, "Go Utsu, appreciate you playing our game and love watching you break it." I think that's a dev donation, so congratulations.
Yeah, Wolfgang was one of the devs who was on the couch with Brio. Hi, Wolfgang.
Hi, Wolfgang.
And to let you know, we have currently opened a new incentive. There's going to be an Adopt the Cat incentive for Stardew Valley. So if you want to show some love to animals, go ahead and put your donation towards that incentive.
Y'all better adopt that cat, I swear.
Do it. And we have time for one more donation. But again, everyone go, oh no, the danger skid. All right, take two. You got this.
That's okay. Where is it, though?
Yeah, so the spawning in of the boss is entirely dependent on RNG. So that's why in the first area, we were really happy that the tail to like kind of enter the boss and get on faster was a lot closer to Utsu. Other times you have RNG like this where you're just trying to figure out where the boss even is on the map.
Yeah, I was feeling a little bit bold. I paid for it. That's okay, though.
It happens with this game. But hey, time for more donations.
Of course, I am happy to oblige. We have a $25 donation from Elegant Fugue. No comment, but thank you so much for supporting Malala Fund. And don't forget, we are very, very close to $37,000. So, you might just hear some excited air horns if we meet that during this run. But certainly if we make it to $45,000, we're going to get to see our next bonus game, Katamari Forever. So let's keep picking up steam and getting towards that.
Oh, the Katamari games are so much fun. I'm just going to second that and say make sure to get in those donations. It's a really fun run. All right, and we're back with this wonderful character, Echo, and we're about to head into our third section of the game, Ironroot Basin, and we're going to see a little bit more of that NPC Lyris in this area. This one also has probably the most stubborn boss, but they're going to be kind of glitched out at a certain point because we aren't even going to use the front door. We are once again going to use gravity manipulations and the wonders of standing on a tree to go in a way that the game doesn't expect us to. But first off, we have to talk to our wonderful friend, Sid.
I love Sid. They're great.
Yeah,
Just mash the spacebar real quick.
I genuinely want to cosplay Sid. This outfit is amazing.
How would you do the arms?
I mean, I've seen some people do things like that with lights and wires. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I would experiment with it, but I think you could absolutely pull it off. Yeah, so that front door that you see to the left, Utsu isn't going to be using that. Instead, she's going to be standing on one of the tiny little places you can actually get your feet onto with this tree, and then basically jump into the area right next to this first cache by riding along the side of those trees. If you kind of skate across the top of the tree at different angles, it will allow you to keep the momentum that you have from the initial jumps, which just helps a lot in general with maintaining speed, getting the height that you need. And this is one area that we don't visit in the True Ending Restricted because our friend Lyris is here. Ignore the monster that's above her. It's fine.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, nothing happened. What? One other thing that's really cool in this section is it after getting that next little activation of talking to Lyris, it is faster rather than jumping out of that area to just go on this tree and jump back in again because we can use the momentum from the trees to go to a different section of the map. Normally, this particular area expects you to find several different locks to unlock this orange door that you can see kind of at the upper left. But there is a really cool jump that Utsu's going to do here that allows her to basically entirely skip past the archway. But first she's going to go ahead and take out these little red pieces of goop that I'm trying to think how to describe them. I usually just call it like the explosive goop. So those little dots on the ground that you saw before, if you stand on them and don't keep moving, they will explode under your feet, which loses a lot of health. But by taking out the red piece, that takes out everything in that section. And there are going to be quite a few times we see that. So with this particular skip, what Utsu's doing is essentially jumping onto the archways with triple jumps and completely skipping past the door, instead going in through a hole on the second floor. She is grabbing a bit of plasma here just because we're going to need it a little later in the run. And by doing 2 series of really specifically timed jumps in the air and using those hooks that you can find and grapple onto, you can get straight to that next eye. That is something that normally takes a lot more work just all across the map that you can do just with some really good triple jumps.
We're going to go and finish up with our friend Lyris.
Yep, after you talk to Lyris and all the other places she spawns, then the final place to kind of finish up her story is down underneath this tree. This is also a moment where I want to say you will get to see all but one of the NPCs during this run. And the NPC that we don't specifically get to see appears in a series of notes that you can find all across the map with the greatest name I have ever heard, and I want to play a D&D Tabaxi with this name, which is Tarragon Danderpaws.
Oh yeah, Tarragon Danderpaws.
Tarragon Danderpaws logs are amazing. Just the lore behind them, as well as every time that I hear the voiceover just saying Tarragon Danderpaws with the sign off, it makes me happy.
And I just heard from production that we need to take a small break on that game. And oh my gosh, that was so exciting. And not only to see that game being run expertly by Utsu, but hearing from the devs themselves, that's so exciting. And I really hope, devs, that you carry through with your promise to give Utsu a new space bar. I know that we all often need that in our lives. So please make good on that. And for you, chat, make good on your thoughts to donate to Malala Fund. We've got some fun incentives coming up. We've got the Stardew Valley Adopt the Cat incentive, which we already have $95 to. Thank you so much. And if you want to tinker with our Stardew Valley game, there is a bid war open to name the farmer. So if you have something fun, if you want to name the farmer Bingus, if you want to name the farmer Utsu in honor of this awesome runner, feel free to do that. And all of your donations go to the fantastic cause of Malala Fund. I have a couple of donations. We have a $25 anonymous donation, no comment, but thank you so much. And a $20 donation from Maj Danvers, no comment as well, but we so appreciate it. And chat, I would love to see some donations coming through in honor of our amazing tech team. I'm sure they would love to see you adopt the cat just as they adopt the amazing roles that they have for bringing us a fantastic stream. I'm just seeing the first donations coming in for that bid war of naming the farmer. We have $25 for the name farmer. I mean, I guess that's exactly what you got to do. You like to call it like you see it. And one might even say you can call a spade a spade. So keep those donations coming. They are all going towards Malala Fund, which is working for a world where every girl can learn and lead. With more than 130 million girls out of school today, Malala Fund partners with education advocates and activists who are breaking down the barriers that hold girls back. So again, an amazing cause. And we have an inspiring donation, $125 from JM Grant 23, who says, as a fan of speedrunning and a father of two beautiful daughters, I'm overjoyed that they have things like flame fatales to show them there is plenty of support for women to be amazing, be powerful, and do whatever they want in this world. Thanks to everyone who is part of a great event. Thank you, JM Grant, for uplifting your daughters and uplifting the women of Flame Fatales, and as we contribute to Malala Fund, which is an organization that uplifts women across the world. Thank you so, so much for your donation. Now, your donations also go towards a drawing to win some lovely prizes that are upcoming. We have some fantastic prizes. One was a cross stitch from our Satan Loves Cake run. It was very, very cute and chaotic, just like you would like to see from a Satan Loves Cake run. We also have a Flame Fatales digital pen painting, filament pen painting. That is so cute. And that's with a $20 minimum donation. And we also have a Pyro Guy miniature, a hand-sculpted, one-of-a-kind mini made by Mr. Dean, specifically for Flame Fatales. And that is a $15 minimum donation. And of course, if you put in those minimum amounts, you will be entered to win those fantastic prizes. And who wouldn't want to have those around the house? You know, we have our prize cave, and maybe you have your gaming cave at home where you keep all of your stuff. I know that I have quite a few Dr. Mario plushies sitting around in my room. And I wanted to update you and let you know we are ready to be back to our Solar Ash run. So thank you so much for your patience. And again, shout out and hype to the tech team. Please take it away.
We're back. All right.
Yeah.
Utsu, do you want to just go or count it in?
I'm gonna count it. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, it's like we never left. So, basically, at this point, you're just going to see a lot of ridiculous jumping. There are a ton of enemies here that can do quite a bit of damage to your shields, but this one is actually very easy to skip by as long as you know the right place to jump in the air and then use your hook to very quickly grapple all the way across the board, take out that next eye. We do have one more eye and one more cache in this area to go, and then we're going to have our next boss fight, which is one of the most annoying ones for speedrunners, solely because in order for it to activate, there are only 3 places that you can stand. We'll get into it once the boss fight actually starts, but there's quite a bit of RNG that you have to deal with and hope cooperates with you.
So you remember how I entered the place with that tree? Yeah, so there's the boss. The boss never got to properly spawn in because we skipped their spawn cutscene. So we're going to have to quit out to fix that. But before I do that, I'm just going to go ahead and grab the last cache I need.
She's just in the clouds somewhere because it's cozy down there, you know.
Over that way.
Yep, and the final cache, all you have to do after hitting that eye is just jump down here. There is an enemy that likes to hit you, but because Utsu is on Novice, which was a very intentional choice at the beginning, she has just enough shields to take one hit, not worry about it, get the cache, and get out. There's one other point where we'll need to grab shields, but that's not until the next area, so we don't have to worry about it for now.
But now it's time for the boss, Lost Sentry. Lost Sentry is a character. She is, there she is. She's so cute. Lost Sentry can only attack from one of 3 spots in the map. And whenever you finish a phase with Lost Sentry, you go into a cutscene watching them stand there for a second as the bone on their body disappears. And if they make it to a spot just as the cutscene ends, you will have to wait for them to move again, which loses time.
Yeah, and especially if you don't know where those placements are and are playing it casually, it can be very confusing just trying to figure out how to even activate the fight. But by knowing the right places to stand, we can make sure not only to end up in those places a lot quicker, but Utsu can make sure that hopefully she won't fire multiple shots. She'll just fire a single one and then
I don't
be able to get on.
This. No, I didn't.
Oh no. That's okay.
Never messed with a Void Runner before, huh?
And
so
I was... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's all I was saying. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, while we wait for Sentry to get back in position, it feels like a really good time for donations.
Oh yeah, for sure. And just a quick reminder that there is a flashing lights warning at the end of this boss.
Well, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. We have a couple of $25 donations from Night Flyer, M. the Marvelous, and Steven. No comments, but thank you so much for supporting Malala Fund. And as a reminder, we are working towards a couple of incentives right now. We really want you to have the runner adopt the cat in Stardew Valley to have a nice cozy moment. And you can also enter the bid war, to name the farmer. Currently, the farmer's gonna just be named Farmer. So, we can get some more imagination in there, chat. I believe in you. So let's stay cozy and keep donating to Malala Fund.
Thank you so much for that. We are now on the danger skin phase, so at the end of this is when that flashing lights warning is going to come up. Personally, I usually don't have as hard a time with the danger skin phase on this one, but I know the next boss is definitely one of the most difficult.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so at this point, it's if you don't end up in the right place, because again, every phase, Sentry will kind of do more shots, then she'll do 3 full shots before you can actually get on, but it looks like the positioning was perfect there because with 1 shot, Utsu's on!
Yeah. Right now, I'll go ahead and mention that I kind of do a slightly different routing for this level than the other 100% route for this level. So I basically plan for having good RNG. The other route has you get caches and stuff during like long waiting phases, and I don't like to plan for bad RNG. I like to expect the best. And with that, the boss is finished.
That puts us a little less than halfway through the game. There are 6 big sections and then one final kind of cherry on top boss fight at the end, which again, I'm not going to explain the lore behind. Play the game. Trust me, it's amazing.
It's such a good game.
It's such a good game. And if the camera movement and just the gameplay itself isn't enough of a selling point, I had a different favorite video game for a solid like 10 to 15 years, and this now, after I played it the first time, is easily tied. The lore and the way that everything is crafted is just that good. And Utsu makes everything look easy. It is more difficult to navigate these sections playing casually, but you still feel like everything is very fast-paced because of the movement controls that they give you and put at your disposal. So it's really fun and fast-paced, even just playing your first time.
So here we were talking about plasma and buying shield cells. So here I'm actually going to do that because there is a skip in the next map that I'm going to be needing that shield cell for. Also, you've noticed I've been skipping the doors, and in True Ending you do skip every single one of these eye doors. But in 100% there is a character behind this one that we have to go through this one to get to. If you want to talk about them, Ruby?
Say that last sentence one more time. I am so sorry. My headset cut out and I missed it.
Oh, I was just asking if you could introduce this NPC that we have here for us.
Absolutely, I love this character. So this is Arik. Arik is a character that essentially in this area, to not get too spoiler, but just to give you an idea of this area, there are people, because we are inside a black hole, who actually live and exist inside black holes, tending to the mushrooms, which are really the only life that can grow inside of them, and taking care of several other Umbra who have basically, the best way I can put it is they have died but become part of a hive mind, which is really interesting. So there are several elders that, as part of the lore with Arik,
wait, Ruby.
Yes.
The structure looks undamaged. Do you think it could have been built inside the Ultra Void?
You know, I think it might have been built inside the Ultra Void.
How is that possible?
It's a good question.
The structure looks undamaged.
Was it built inside the Ultra Void? Totally.
I missed
just saying the lines and not also referencing stuff in the game. We don't know what you're talking about.
I missed the orange or the yellow.
Oh, yeah. Many of us affectionately refer to the yellow as Doritos. So there are these little puffy clouds, puffy bits of mushroom that give off different colors and allow you to unlock doors associated with the same color. So the yellow ones, I know I and several other people call Doritos, and you call the blue ones packing peanuts, right?
I call them either packing peanuts or jelly beans.
Oh, I haven't heard jelly beans. That's fun. So the main colors you'll see with that, there's yellow, there's blue, and there's red. Do you have a different name for the red ones? I usually just always call them Doritos.
I forget what the red looks like. It might also be Doritos.
Yeah, my friends and I typically call them different Dorito flavors. So like nacho cheese is the yellow one, spicy hot is red, and then Cool Ranch is blue. Yeah, everyone has different nicknames for them. Let's see. Also, the suit in this area in particular is really cool. The hands are almost shaped like claws, and the hair has a white stripe in it. Very a la Sweeney Todd is the best comparison I can make. If you've seen that musical, it's great.
the gravity kind of messed up on me there, so I'm going the hashtag intended way. But ideally, I would have just fallen right on top of that church.
And again, this is a part that we normally skip, but there's a cache right on top of here, so it's always best to do this. And in just a second, if I'm remembering correctly with this routing, we're going to be seeing the reason why Utsu got the additional shield in the first place. So there is a creature down here. Normally, we have to do a whole series of puzzles unlocking a million doors inside the bigger chapel. But by getting that enemy to hit you at a certain angle while you're pretty close to that goo, you can actually get it to fully glitch you through it. So having that extra shield allows Utsu to take that damage, get through the wall without dying in the process.
Here's a fun quick thing, by the way. So there was a bit of a collision issue in this area of the game that was patched out, and at first we didn't really mind, but yeah, this hole in the wall. At first we didn't really mind, but then someone found that like hit through the wall, and then we were like, well, shoot, we don't want to down patch. What do we do about this? And Heart Machine was nice enough to patch it back into the game for us, so we wouldn't need a down patch to go through the wall.
Yeah, again, shout outs to Heart Machine for just being so accommodating and supportive of the speedrun community, and especially the community that has developed around this game. Words cannot express how much we appreciate you. And Wolfgang actually just mentioned something in chat about the Packing Peanuts Doritos, which I think is really cool, that the different shapes are specifically a colorblind accommodation to make sure that people who have a hard time telling apart those colors can still easily figure out the puzzle. Like, I think that's amazing. My partner is colorblind, and I know that's made playing some games like very difficult for them.
So I think this is the first one of these that we do for this level.
The first.
Yeah, it is. The first.
Oh, the first eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everything else
there's another one. Oh no, it's the basement one I do first. I just vanished that out of my brain.
That's okay, but we did the basement eye in this one, but usually it's entirely the movement is based on getting all those eyes as quickly as possible, but for the 100%, it's a lot better to go for the caches first, just with the general routing and pathing here. At this point, Utsu's just jumping all the way around the temple using some of the side architecture to grab that next cache. And there are a few eyes coming up, one of which is one of the trickiest ones for me. So something you're going to notice is that goop that you can grab onto for certain sections to climb and just generally navigate an area makes you move a lot slower. But if you kind of dash on the goop and jump off of it at the same time, you can do what we call a goop dash, which allows you to get a little bit of extra height. So I know that goop dash was really important for that basement eye to move through or off the wall towards some of the architecture, and that's going to be really important in another skip coming up in just a second here. Usually to finish this next eye, you have to go outside, hit a bunch of the needles with the weak spots, go all the way back in the tower, climb a bunch of stuff. But by doing the goop dash here, it's actually going to allow Utsu to just very quickly do a circle around the outside here and be good to go. So that's what a goop dash looks like. There we go. And that's the thing I struggle with most in this game, is just face planting into the side of this tower instead of actually doing the goop dash.
Yeah, it's a little difficult.
Yeah, that basement one is even trickier, though, because of just the angle of the walls. At this point, there are only a few other eyes, and this is a really good moment for me to bring up just different speed differentials. So as you've noticed, moving and skating is really, really crucial to the movement in this game. But fun fact, if you dash on the ground, you do move faster than your regular movement, but it's still pretty slow. However, the reason why Utsu kind of went back to the clouds and then dashed off of that is dashing on clouds gives you a ridiculous amount more momentum. And as long as you don't dash on the ground and kind of hop off the ground repeatedly is the best way I can describe it. So kind of skipping as you go, you can maintain that momentum from the clouds for a lot more distance. So that's something that Utsu's going to be using a lot, is building up momentum either on rails or on clouds before hitting the ground afterwards. This is another moment where the using the rail momentum is really important. Usually that jump is not something you can make, but with the triple jump and getting all that extra momentum, you can glide straight over that bone graveyard, and rather than needing to use a million rails that you have to unlock, you can just hit that final eye, and now we have spawned in our next boss, the Withered Eye. And this one, notoriously, is one of the most difficult bosses to fight, mainly because it is a lot smaller and specifically a round shape. So your jumps, if you don't place them right, either can immediately land you in danger skin with how the camera moves around him, or can throw you completely off the boss. So I know this is one that I really struggle with and have to keep full focus on. Another thing there is, in order to activate the fight, Utsu just needed to kind of glide in front of the boss, and a lot of people will usually just flail around hoping to get the boss's attention, but it's actually a lot easier if you just stand directly in front of him to get him aggroed. So fun fact, sometimes it does help to just stand still for a second and then move around ridiculously. We are in the second of 3 phases for this fight. Just keep in mind, we do have that flashing lights warning that's going to be coming up once we're in the danger skin phase. But this is another great time for donations while Utsu goes through this fight.
Thank you so much. We've got some donations coming in for our upcoming incentive. I saw in the chat some people are trying to get us excited for the Adopt the Cat incentive in Stardew Valley. So I have $100 from Elzimoto, who says, always adopt the cat. Don't just taunt them. Loki forever. And also have a $25 donation from Cyclone. No comment, but thank you so much for supporting Malala Fund, and I hope your donation went to our incentives. We also have a bid war to name the farmer, and we have another contender now. Not only do we have Farmer, but we also have Uwu leading the charge at $30. So keep those donations coming. And I think you might want to know that we reached $37,000. Let's go, chat.
Yes! Oh, that's
Yay.
incredible. What's the value again that we need to reach in order to get Katamari Forever?
It is $45,000.
Okay, I believe in y'all, chat. We can get there. And yeah, that moment that we saw just a second ago there where Utsu went, again, kind of what I'm talking about with this fight, with the way the camera moves, the way that the needles are placed, and also these tendrils that are flying out the side with the shape of the boss and everything else. It makes navigating this boss really difficult. It is so easy to die on that last phase, but that was a beautiful Withered Eye. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, people are giving a ridiculous amount of uwoos for you in chat, so know that they're cheering you on. What? I haven't practiced that. It's fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no clue what you're on about.
What? Anyway, we're headed to Mirror Sea. That's the next area.
Also, I'm not getting any more shield cells, by the way. This has become a deathless run.
Oh, yep.
Or a no-hit run, I should say.
And what's going to make that even more difficult and fun, Utsu? You have the acid and fire areas coming up.
Oh, yes, of course. We've got toxic and we have lava. Literally just the lava. But don't worry, no lava yet, just toxic.
Yep. So with the toxic area, with lava, if you fall in it, you just immediately die. So that's fun and exciting. The toxic area does give you a little more leeway, but because a majority of the area is toxic, it makes it very tricky to navigate. But in order to get into this next area, Utsu's going to go into Iron Root Basin. And there's another really cool jump you can make. And this is a moment where we are going to end up skipping past that door. We're not going to be activating it or anything like that. There's a triple jump that is right next to a cache up here. So after grabbing that cache, Utsu's going to be able to triple jump at exactly the right time under these clouds and already be in the next area. You can see the toxic waterfall kind of to the right. So to explain what happens with the toxicity of the water in this realm that we're headed towards, Mirror Sea, when you jump on the toxic, the acid, it causes a meter to spawn onto the screen. So you'll see it in a little bit here. And that meter is essentially counting down how much longer you have to stand in the toxic and still be safe. And the moment that meter turns red, that means that if you step on it even for a second while that meter is still running, your character will instantly lose health. And in this case, because it's now a hitless run, will just die. So moving around this area can be very, very tricky. Every movement counts. And this next trick is a really cool one. And you'll probably explain it better than I do if you want to talk about it just a little bit.
Yeah, we're not quite there yet. I still have to go get a cache. So True Ending does a skip right down there that I just passed. But for 100%, there is one cache amongst all of these like ship remains that are just kind of standing around here. So I have to go get that. And then I'm going to do what I refer to as Aim Skip Supreme. The skip for True Ending is called Aim Skip Deluxe, but this one I'm calling Aim Skip Supreme. I just made it up. It's just Aim Skip, but you slap the Supreme logo on it.
See, and now I just desperately want tacos. The Taco Deluxe, the Taco Supreme, Ames Deluxe, Ames Supreme. Anyway, at this point, in order to get into this next section...
that's unfortunate.
Oh, okay.
I accidentally pressed a spacebar and left alt, which is my time slip button, at the same time.
Oh, no. Okay, got it.
That's okay. I can... I luckily grabbed a checkpoint, so I'm real close to where I need to be.
Nice. Yeah, so essentially by grabbing this cache and jumping on this archway, normally you can't get up to the ships nearly this easily, but the placement that Utsu is going for on this arch puts you just high enough so you can triple jump and grab onto one of those hook points if you time slip. But it's a really, really narrow window, so getting that twice in a row that quickly was beautiful. So after grabbing this cache, the next thing we're going for is essentially a rail slip, kind of like we saw in some of the previous areas, to get to this next set of rails and finally get into the next section.
All right. If I mess this up, I will just go ahead and go do Aim Skip Deluxe.
Okay. Good luck. And to make sure that she lands on the right place, if you see that cloud in the background, we kind of use that for some of these.
Fine.
Nice. Okay, cool.
I didn't quite land where I wanted to, but there's an easy backup.
Yeah, it's very close. So by using these mushrooms that spawn rails, you can get up to this next cache, which is what Utsu was aiming for. But that mushroom cloud in the background, we kind of use as a reference point to aim and make sure that you have just the right distance and trajectory to land on this section. As you can tell, there's a lot of just dead air underneath, so it is very easy to just fully miss the ground altogether or to accidentally end up in acid at a place where like you can't recover. Also, we're going to be finding these little radios and reporting into someone. There's someone behind the radio that we're reporting into. We don't necessarily know who they are, but it's fine. I'm sure they're completely trustworthy.
Also, I don't think we talked about it, but what I've been doing for a while is we've talked about rail slipping, which is where I spam the skate button while on a rail while in time slip. But if I do that without being in time slip, we call it a party because Ray throws her hands up in the air and she's like, woo!
And it gives you a ridiculous amount more speed. Doing it on a curved rail can be tricky because if you don't spam it close enough together, then you'll just kind of fly off the rail. But it's very fun to get the extra speed by partying.
This pavilion must have been impressive in its day.
Also, aren't you the one who named partying?
I made I made a clip of it called Ray Likes to Party. I'm gonna go for this one more time. Okay, cool. And that led to everyone basically just referring to it as partying. And
amazing.
So I don't know if I named it, but I helped it get named.
Well, I bet chat could make a party right now donating to Malala Fund. What do you think?
Oh, for sure.
Please party with Ray. Do it. There's going to be a bunch of partying in this section.
Exactly. Party with Ray. Make sure we adopt that cat. So exciting.
How close are we to that cat incentive?
Well, it is $2,500 and we are at $240 right now. So chat, we have some work to do. We gotta just blaze right through this.
Listen, I have an adorable cat at home named Onyx, and I'm sure that she would be so excited to see a cat friend on the speedrun stream. I'm just saying, if you want to make a speedrunner cat in this world happy, maybe you should donate so Stardew can have the cat.
I think that's great. Chat, let's do it for Onyx. And you know what? We have almost 1,000 unique donations for Flame Fatales this year. So I would love to see us get up to 1,000 donations during this run and make sure those go to the Adopt a Cat incentive.
That would be absolutely incredible. Utsu just killed that last die while we were talking about partying and how great cats are. Basically, it involves a bunch of rail slips going around a tower, and that one, the timing of how long you can stay on the toxic is very tricky. At this point, to take out this eye, rail slipping on that first rail, quickly jumping up and hitting these additional needles, then going for the final eye in the center is the best way to go about it. And this one is so tricky, and Utsu makes it look so easy. I still, every time I watch you play this game, am in awe. But this isn't the end of it. We actually have several more anomalies to take out and several more caches to get. And to get a little bit of extra speed, Utsu's going to once again jump off this rail to get back up here. There is one cache on the top of this building that Utsu's going to grab super fast before heading through the toxic to where our next cache and anomaly is going to be.
So I'm going to be using the shape of this pavilion kind of for a speed boost. I didn't quite get it, but that's okay. So I have clouds right here.
Yeah, and again, the clouds give you a lot more speed, very similarly to the rail. So anytime that we can absolutely abuse that, Utsu's going to. All right, question for you, Utsu, because I know that we were talking quite a bit about these suits. Which are your favorite suits in the game?
Looks-wise, my favorite suit is probably Irving's suit. I'm a big fan of like armor and stuff like that, and Irving's suit kind of looks like a suit of armor. It has like gauntlets and stuff. But in terms of mechanics, my favorite is probably Verse suit, just because I'm a big fan of the dash cooldown on it. It's not a lot, but it makes going through clouds so much more convenient in my opinion. And it makes there's a lot of times when I'm doing tricks when I think I'm about to have my dash on off cooldown, but I don't. And Verse suit just makes it feel so much more consistent.
That's fantastic. I will say that as far as design, I think that, oh gosh, I definitely love the Verse suit. It is one of my favorites. The other one, oh god, which character has the wooden suit? That's not Gozam, is it?
That is Gozam.
That is Gozam? Okay, yeah. Then, so Gozam's suit, has a very almost monk-like feel to it. So think like Avatar: The Last Airbender colors of like oranges and yellows and blues, and the suit, instead of looking metal, looks like it's made of wood. It's just aesthetically gorgeous. All right.
I have a bit of a fun fact on how I remember whose suit is whose.
Oh yeah.
It's specifically that I remember what Ray says when Ray finds their like ghost. The only outlier is Verse's suit, because I remember a line, my favorite line that Verse has, which is literally just him going, "We shouldn't even be here."
Yeah, that's honestly a really good synopsis of the game. Like a no context synopsis. Oh, and we're reporting into this person, whoever it is, on the radio.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Also, I saw this hole earlier. I'm gonna go in it just because I'm kind of curious. You know, we're doing a bit of strat finding on GDQ. I hope that's okay.
Ooh, I love it. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna just come down this hole here.
I'm sure nothing bad's gonna happen.
Yeah. I've never been down here, and I don't think anyone else has really come down here. So I don't know. There could be a. Wait, who's that? No,
Person in the distance.
Is that Mr. Krabs? Is that Mr. Krabs? Mr. Krabs has a gun. Mr. Krabs, put down the gun.
Put it down. Hey,
Mr. Krabs,
hey.
Mr. Krabs, I need you. I need you to listen. Okay.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
All right, we're gonna leave Mr. Krabs. Let's you know what? No more strat finding. We're leaving. We're leaving.
This is what happens when you go to explore. You find Mr. Krabs with a gun, apparently.
I did not think Mr. Krabs was in this game. Very bold move of Heart Machine to put Mr. Krabs in Solar Ash, but
listen, I love everything about it. It's a bold move, but a wise move.
Yeah,
You might have just left Mr. Krabs behind, but we cannot leave the cat behind in Stardew Valley. I have a $5 donation from Prometheus that says, "All aboard the cat train? Meow, meow." Hey, if I could get a $5 cat train going, you just give me the names of all of your cats, put them in $5 donations, very exciting, and a $50 donation from Cat saying, "Cat.
cat.
Let's go, people. Keep them coming. Meow, meow."
I want to hear these cat names. And if you have any other donations, this is a really good moment for it before we get into the next section.
I definitely do. I have $25 from the Valiant Sun, who says, "I heard that the Stardew Runner actually has 2 cats IRL. Maybe if we adopt the cat in the game, we can get a guest star from them. Let's go, chat."
Oh my gosh. Yes.
That would be so good. And $10 from Satan herself, who says, "Adopt the cat." Can we start a $10 cat donation train? Nice, up in my ante. And if you have a cat at home, tell us about your cat or your favorite fictional cat. My cat is an orange cat named Henry. We can do this. Yes, I want to hear about all the cats. All of the cats. Let's go, chat.
So do we. Please tell us about your cats. Also, we want to see an in-person cat. Also, okay, going into the run really quickly, one thing that I know I struggle with this as a casual player that's really cool is the way that you get into this section is by basically jumping through a hole that completely reverses gravity. So at this point, Utsu was able to get up to this, I believe, last cache. And
There's
then
one more.
There is one more? Okay. So second to last cache, we are going to take care of the next anomaly eye, which is going to spawn in the boss. But again, we don't necessarily have to worry about immediately getting to the boss. There's no time limit on that. We will get to Rust Dragger when we get there. But Rust Dragger, in my opinion, is the absolute coolest design for a boss. There was a glitch that existed for a while in the beginning of the game where one of the jumps would just kind of, instead of, you know, sending you on a normal trajectory through the boss fight, would just yeet you into the air so far that sometimes people ended up on like different random parts of the map, but that has been patched out. Utsu, which area did you say you ended up in at one point?
I made it to Crater once. the main area of the game, the first area. I made it there because Rush Dragger used to have like overlapping gravity bubbles. So on the final phase, when you'd enter that, you'd get to the hardest part of the game, Mirror C. You'd be fighting the final boss. You'd be on the final phase, and then you just get sent to the stratosphere. Just Rush Dragger says, "No, you did not pass the vibe check."
Too much of this.
I'm very glad that we don't have to deal with that glitch at this point.
Thank you so much, Heart Machine, for patching that out.
Yep, have we mentioned we love Heart Machine, just in case we didn't make that abundantly clear?
Heart Machine is awesome.
I also, because I am a huge Shadow of the Colossus fan, and that was my first speedrun game, I love this fight because it very much has the same kind of epic feel, this big warrior boss with a sword attached to it. To Gaius in Shadow, it just always makes me think of that fight. Already the first phase is down. Every time that Utsu mounts, it's going to be essentially either grabbing onto the fist or grabbing onto that really huge sword and riding that rail all the way up. This fight also has just one of my favorite general camera shots in the game. You'll see it in a minute. You'll know it when you see it. And keep in mind, we are on the second phase of this fight. So at the end of this, we are going to have another one of those flashing lights warnings. So if you need to look away, just keep that in mind as soon as that final stab comes in.
All right, and with that, we could probably throw it over to a couple more donations. I just got punched.
Oh no! Yeah, I was gonna say this is a perfect time for them. So yeah, go ahead, all you.
I am happy to give you a $30 donation from Anonymous, no comment, but thank you very much for supporting us. And a $20 donation from Angelina Morales, who says, watching my first GDQ stream ever. Busy from grad school, but glad to take some time to relax, eat ice cream, and watch a good speed run. Good luck on Solar Ash, and long live the Flame Fatales. Long live the Flame Fatales, and long live the cats. So everyone, let's get that cat adopted. I want to hear about your cats with some good $10 donations.
And welcome to Games Done Quick and watching speedruns. I hope you have a great time here. Yeah, we definitely have time for a few more donations while we get into this next area.
Excellent, excellent. I have a $25 donation from Cyclone, so thank you so much. And a couple of more anonymous donations, a $25 donation and a $30 donation. Thank you so much for keeping those coming. We've got our Adopt the Cat incentive. We've got a bid war to name the farmer in Stardew Valley. Again, we've got Uwu leading the charge. So, you know, Uwu. So if you want to see more of those in the chat, let's keep it coming. Let's keep all those donations going. And remember, we can get to 1,000 donations by the end of this run. Let's go.
Let's go. I believe in you and all of your cats, chat.
So, some people might have been wondering, why haven't I gotten all of the suit pieces from Basin? Like, I finished Basin a while ago, but I only just got one of the other ones right before Mirror Sea. Where's the last one? Well, I'm going to be getting that and then heading into the last area of the game, Luminous Peak. Ruby, do you want to talk about Luminous Peak for a little bit?
Absolutely. So Luminous Peak is definitely the most dangerous to navigate area, which is very appropriate considering it's the last major area that we make our way through before hitting those final two boss fights. Because unlike the toxic area where when you touch the ground, there was danger there, but you still had a little bit of a time limit you could work with. Most of the ground is going to be lava. If you ever played the game, the ground is lava. This whole area just encapsulates that. On top of that, with that character Arik that we met back in the Eternal Garden, one of the big things that is mentioned is that Ray is trying to get information, which I will keep nameless, from different elders in Arik's tribe of the Umbra. So some of them were back in the garden, but the rest of them are going to be in this area. So a lot of what you're going to see here is doing everything you can to stay out of that lava, trying to pick up those caches, as well as meeting the different elders of Auric along the way. So they will look very similar to Auric's design. This is the first cache we're going to grab in this area before moving forward. And at this point, the other thing to keep in mind that always terrifies me every time I play this particular section is you'll notice a lot more enemies the further and further you get into this level. So already there are 3 birds there that can potentially shoot you, even more as you rise up. And there's one particular section way towards the end of the level that is completely swarming with them, and Utsu's going to have to dodge through in a really, really specific pathing in hopes of not hitting any of the enemies or getting shot. These little puff clouds that spawn the rails are also going to be really important for the boss fight, so keep those in mind. We're not only going to have to deal with anomalies in this area that are going to be on the tops of these towers, but they are going to be really, really important to actually mount the boss. We're going to go ahead and party again, so everyone please put your party emotes in the chat and grab this next cache right in the back here. This is another area where there's going to be a ridiculous amount of rail dashing for the sake and rail partying for the sake of building up that momentum and trying to get as much distance as is humanly possible away from where the danger is. There's also one more cache right up here that Utsu's going to grab. And again, not taking the regular path, instead using a bunch of the pipes to jump on. The other really big important thing that is terrifying in this level is checkpoint management. This is okay.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, that jump is particularly terrifying. So with checkpoint management, teleporting around this level by grabbing one checkpoint but making sure to dodge the others as much as you can is so important because there are a lot of areas where you need to run through huge stretches but don't really have an easy way to quickly teleport backwards. So there is a checkpoint right underneath that cache that is very easy to accidentally hit, which is why I was making the panic noises for a second. but Utsu absolutely killed it and is gonna quickly quit out to teleport back to that previous checkpoint. And that is going to be the functional checkpoint for a lot more of this level than you may think, because from here, a huge tower in the background, we're going to be doing one of the hardest jumps in the game, which is a rail slip triple jump. So those triple jumps that we're not supposed to be able to functionally do, and the time slips on a rail to gain momentum, you have to do those at the same time by very specifically starting to hit those spams. Oh my gosh, head empty, no thoughts, and you immediately get the trick. Heck yes.
Yeah, my method for that is just no think, just do.
Yeah,
wow.
if you overthink that trick, it's it can go so wrong so quick.
That was so amazing.
My heart is beating so fast right now. That is actually like probably the hardest skip in the game. Also,
wow.
just gonna quickly side state, I'm wearing Versuit now. We never really brought that up, but I just put that on after we grabbed it right before this map.
I was so focused on your movement that I did not even register that you did that. That's amazing.
A couple people in chat thought that you were saying a fur suit before.
Oh no!
And we do.
Yeah, no. Ray's a furry.
I know. But I was thinking, you know, what else is wearing a fursuit? A cat. And we have a $10 donation. A cat donation for my cat, Mona, named after the cat in Persona 5. Aww. That's a donation from Lemon Carrots. Thank you so much. And everyone, I want to hear more about these cats. Let's get that train going and meet that Adopt the Cat incentive in Stardew Valley. We've got $630 towards that, so let's make it happen and keep working towards 1,000 donations. We got 993 right now. Chat, do it for Ruby and Utsu.
And for your cats, and just to hear about all the amazing cats that Utsu is absolutely killing this run. So I feel like a cat is well-deserved as a reward at the end of it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. If someone could throw me in a pit full of kittens and I would say thank you.
I am
Like,
not looking forward to taking that thing down.
now I'm just thinking about cats. Anyway, so Utsu just took out another eye. This particular cache is really tricky because Utsu needs to make sure to move as quickly as possible, hit all the birds in the air, and can only actually get the cache when finally hitting that red spot in the back. So that is an area that can be really dangerous, but Utsu made look so simple, and now she can grab this cache. Again, all of the caches in this area, all the eyes in this area just become increasingly more precarious. And a lot of the movement you're going to see in this back section is specifically dodging every single checkpoint possible so that she can, at the very end, teleport back. So a single hit means that she's going to lose a lot of distance, a lot of progress. So every movement,
Oh no!
Oh,
Ray
I had
wasn't
to say something. Oh no!
Ray wasn't dashing in the way that she usually does.
It's okay. It's okay. Take two. Head empty, no thoughts. There it is. Again, hardest jump in the game, and you did it twice in a row, no issue.
I'm gonna take the safe way for the second go around just to make sure that we don't gotta do this again.
No, that's fair. Well, you also don't have to worry about the caches and eyes at this point, so going a little safer, you're not going to have any issue. But while we retrace our steps, how are we doing on those cat donations?
Well, I was going to say, every time I hear you say the word cash, I just think cash, cat, let's go. That's what I keep thinking of. And we have a $10 donation from MK saying, for my cats, Sherlock and Watson, one is pretty smart and sneaky. The other has to wear sweaters for his own safety. Let's go, Malala fun. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. I also saw a little bit in chat, some people bringing up that puppies are better than kittens. And yeah, if you want to fight, let's go. Donate, put your money where your mouth is. And we're still going to adopt a cat, but we'll just pretend maybe it's spiritually a puppy. So yeah, get those donations in there.
I mean, if you want to use your donations to debate, if you want to use your donations just to say, I have a dog named X or a turtle named Y, we don't discriminate here. We love all pets. One of a very dear friend who speedruns a bunch of the same games I do has a whole enclave of reptiles who are absolutely adorable. So just tell us about your pets. We love pets here. This is the most dangerous section in the game. You know how I said that it gets more precarious and there are some sections where you are terrified because of how many things you have to dodge? This is that section. This is hitless. You do have to kill this one enemy in order to get to this final eye here. And dodging through this section is absolutely horrifying. There are at least, I want to say, 20 or 30 enemies in that area, all of which, or a majority of which, can shoot lasers rather than just running up to you to try and harm you. And at this point, usually we would just quit out towards that final checkpoint, but we do have one cache that we need to grab just over here in the graveyard, while also making sure not to go too far by and accidentally proccing that checkpoint, which Utsu was easily able to dodge.
Did you say cache?
I did say cache. Do you have cats?
Well, I have cats.
Oh my gosh, yes!
I have $25 from USR bin PRL for my cat Marnold, aka Sir Marmalade. He's a big ginger FIV plus rescued stray with a few behavioral problems, and I love him dearly. Oh, I love that so much. And we have $150 from Vachium, who says all cats deserve to be adopted. Definitely. Thank you so much. And a $25 donation from Dragonista, who says, our girl, Snacksoramus, is a chonky black and white with a big tail, loves dozing off on the patio and eating sashimi and sausages. She has the cat attitude down pat, but just a bit lacking in the fur department. Oh, thank you all so much. Keep those donations coming.
That is so cute.
97 donos. Who's going to be 1,000? I want to see it.
Yeah, I'm so curious. And one thing really quickly, so with those elders, we just passed another one for our storyline. And something that we didn't mention is in order to actually speak to them, you have to speak a very specific code phrase or prayer that Arik teaches you in the beginning, which, if I'm remembering correctly, is those who dream in crepuscular infinity part the eternal veil and enlighten me. Did I get that right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Wolfgang, please feel free to correct me if you are still here in chat, but I feel like I've played this game enough times that I have memorized that. And with that final, the second to last boss in the game has spawned in. This is Burning Hunter. I will say one thing that's really interesting is the area itself, so the smaller enemies that you can come across and the environment are really terrifying. Once you get into the boss fight, this is actually one of the moments where, as speedrunners, you can kind of relax because it's pretty okay navigating on the back of this boss. You do have much bigger stretches of stone to work with the wings. So unlike Withered Eye, where things are a lot more narrow, so it's very hard to navigate, this you have a huge breadth of space to work with. So it makes the movement a lot easier. Just reminder for everyone again, especially if you just got here in the last few minutes, we are on the second of 3 phases of this fight, and there will be a flashing lights warning at the end of it. So when Utsu makes that final hit, if you have any issues with flashing lights, I would highly recommend just closing your eyes for a second, and we'll let you know when that's done.
We just made our 1,000th donation, everybody. Chat.
Yay.
Yes!
So exciting. I have a $25 donation from Mr. Tao33 who says $25 for Save the Animals. I mean, adopt the cat. Same idea, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Are there any more of those donations coming in while Utsu wrecks this fight?
I have a very sweet one. I have $20 from Betty B Loves Cats. In memory of my black angel kitty Sable and my orange copper-eyed cat Tigger, aka Sergeant Hatred. Oh, we love your kitties, Betty. Thank you for donating. Keep those donations coming.
Sergeant Hatred is the greatest nickname for a cat I have ever heard.
Somebody said that no cat actually has their real name. All of them have like 6 different names. So we want to hear, if you've got the cat with the most nicknames, we want to hear it. Keep those donations coming in.
So I have a cat who was with my mom. His name is Catechus, but he's a chonky boy. So his nickname has gone through a lot of different iterations with me. First it was Faticus, then I called him Fatty, then I called him Tubby, and now I call him Tubbathy. Like Timothy, but Tubby.
That's adorable. Mine's just the kitty criminal because
I love
my cat is adorable, but cat crimes. Also, flashing lights warning is all good and done. We are going to have
my space bar one more time.
Yep. And now that Utsu has taken out all the different bosses, you can see, so this huge thing that we've kind of seen these cutscenes of lights appearing in is known as the Star Seed. So when I mentioned earlier that the Void Runner's goal was to use a device that theoretically could destroy a black hole and release their planet from its pull, this is that device, and with it fully lit up, it's now active. And fun fact, I'm not going to say what the endings are, but there are 2 different endings for this game, depending on, based on some of the lore, if you choose to use the Star Seed or break the Star Seed. That is the final option that you are given. And I highly recommend playing both at some point, just because I think that replay value and kind of seeing things from both sides gives a lot of perspective. And this is the final Elder, and we get to see our wonderful friend Arik.
All right, and I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure we got all the items.
Yeah.
All right. We finished Lyris. We finished Arik. We have all of these suits. Mr. Krabs. All right, we are good to go into the ending.
Amazing. And this, the particular ending that Utsu's going to be pursuing is one that unlocks a special additional boss fight. But again, I highly recommend playing both endings if you can. And we get this incredible camera shot. And while we're going through this kind of lore-heavy spamming of the spacebar moment, this is a perfect time to just read a bunch of donations before we get into the final stretch.
You know, Ruby, I was just about to interrupt the crap out of you and give you some fun donations because we have reached $38,000.
Yes!
And that was met with a $200 donation from Wolfgang, who we know is a dev. Let's just hit that 38K. Go Utsu. And we also, is there time for me to read out some more kitties?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, we have $30 from Sailor Jade, who says, donating on behalf of my 3 kitties, Mama Cat, Tabby, Diva, mostly white with some color patches on butt and tail, and Ash, Gray, who love watching GDQ. Also, the world needs more adopted cats.
Amazing. And super fast, sorry, one more flashing lights thing here. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, thank you so much. And $10 from Professor Oak II, who says, throwing in my donation for my 2 cats, Luna and Starry, who are a tuxedo and black cat respectively. They're 2-year-old sisters, and they're the biggest source of chaos in my life, and they are keeping me company while I spend this last week sick, and I would do anything for them. Professor Oak II, thank you so much for donating, and we all hope you get better soon. And if you're just tuning in, these are donations in honor of our cats for the Stardew Valley Adopt the Cat incentive. We're looking for $2,500. We've got $980 so far. I think we can make this last push. Chat, keep telling me about those cats. You're having me grinning, and you're having chat loving it.
Absolutely. I will say there's not a cat in this game, but there is a very adorable dog named Darb. So just in honor of the animals in this game and the next, keep those donations coming in. We love our good animals. Also, one thing I do want to shout out really quick, just going back to Wolfgang's donation. If I'm remembering correctly, they are one of the 2 incredible environment artists that worked on this game. And if you just take a look at the scenery in this, it's absolutely exquisite. Words cannot explain how gorgeous this game is and how much we appreciate your work. So from the bottom of my heart and so many other people who appreciate this game, just thank you for working on it. Thank you for making something this pretty.
By the way, quick content warning for a little bit of minor body horror.
Oh, yep, thank you for saying that. I straight up forgot, and I usually am very good about it. We'll let you know as soon as it's done.
See it now. There's no saving them. All I did was prolong their suffering. I'm so sorry. I'm so
What a comfy cutscene. All right, it's safe now.
I love that we said, oh yeah, body horror, and all just immediately went quiet to watch it.
Dude, it's important. It's important.
It's a really good cutscene. And now we are headed into the final fight, and we have now switched characters. So the entire rest of the game, Utsu was playing as Ray, and now that huge being.
You mean Echo?
breathe again.
Well, I said we were playing as Ray, but now you're playing as Echo.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I understand now.
Yeah. So before you were playing as Ray, now you're playing as Echo, and Echo's jumps go a lot higher. This is another one of those moments where to get just a little bit of extra height, Utsu was able to jump onto that tree with a triple jump and use the tower. And now essentially what she's doing to cause this movement is by manipulating the camera kind of above and below Echo. She's able to push her through the air with the gravity constantly switching, and by dying just close enough to the arena, you skip a full long cutscene with Sid and get straight into the boss fight because it assumes that you are close enough to the arena to hit that checkpoint. And now we see the final boss, the massive anomaly, Wretched Ray. This is going to be the final boss in the game that is the distorted version of the character you were once playing. And the main way that this fight works is, unlike all of the others, you don't have one final danger skin phase. It's always danger skin all the time. So every moment of this fight is incredibly precarious, could cause you to die. So every moment of movement, extra boosting of speed while still trying to make sure that you're keeping track of where you are is so critical. Utsu, I feel like this is probably a good time for like wrapping comments since you're getting close to the end of the run. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I guess I'll just go ahead and make all my shout-outs and stuff now. I'd love to give a big shout-out, of course, to Heart Machine. Thank you so much for making this game. Thank you, RUBIEHART, for being on commentary for me. You have been a huge help.
Yeah, happy to.
Thank you, Savage Octagon, for telling us so much about everybody's kitties.
I have more.
Huge, enormous shout out to Brian Otto. Brian Otto ran this game at the not last GDQ, but it was last SGDQ.
Yeah, SGDQ 2022.
Yeah, Brian ran True Ending Restricted, and Brian has been such a motivation to me in the speedrunning scene. And shoutouts to every other Solar Ash runner for just running this game and keeping me motivated and all this stuff. You're all great. I love the Solar Ash community.
Oh, and time is coming up. It's just a second here. Yep.
And with that, time. But yeah, thank you everyone so much for watching. This has been a great time. There were a few hiccups along the way, but I think we all had a really good time hearing about cats, hearing about farmers, hearing about all sorts of stuff. And with that, I hope you all have a great... also, real quick, sorry. You can find me at UtsuMate on Twitter, or sorry, X. And for Twitch, you can find me at UtsuWoo. And I believe that is everything. You all have a great rest of your fatales.
Thank you so much, Utsu. Let's give so many props in the chat for that amazing run. We had so much great stuff going on there. We had Utsu being amazing. We had the dev in here. And of course, we have your cats. And there are so many more cats coming in. I have a $10 donation from Grey Goo Girl who says, my orange tabby cats have a bunch of names, but the best are Gremlin J. Butzman, Caterney at Law, Gizmo P. Buddy Guy, DFA BBQ. Thank you so much for that. Now, there are a lot more cats to go, but unfortunately, I am not going to be the one reading them for you. It is my time to sign off. I have had so much fun with all of you today in chat. Thank you so much for being the positive, cozy, adorable people that you are. So with that, I've been Savage Octagon, and I am going to send it over to the prize cave so you can hear some amazing prizes.